now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday edition of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the safe space where we set oppression ablaze because oppression can't really fuck with us for real, for real. If we keeping it all the way a buck, if we keeping it all the way funky, oppression can't really fuck with us. There's way more of us than it is of oppression. Now, oppression has a multi-100-year head start. I understand that, y'all. But we are the people, the children, the chosen ones, the warriors of today, the people of the generation that is ready to take a stand and fight for the things. And that is us. Aren't you guys excited? I'm very excited about that. I'm more excited that you all have made a choice, a decision, a conscious effort to spend some time with me on this Tuesday. Welcome, 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 everybody. Come on in here. Come on in here. Now listen. As the temperatures start to fall in this autumn, we are still practicing COVID mitigation practices inside. And on the inside, you will wear your mask. You will keep your face covered whilst we are in company indoors because, COVID is still out here jumping on people. I don't want it to jump on you. I sure shit don't want it to jump on anybody who is immunocompromised or chronically ill and or disabled because guess what? America just seems to think that, hey, if those people die, what's the big deal? Well, it's a huge fucking deal because those people are our people. Those people are us. So it is so imperative that we take even some small steps to make sure that we remain protected during the fucking pandemic, which is still very much raging. Anyway, that's my PSA. I'm going to hop off my soapbox momentarily before I get right back on that bitch real quick. Let me give y'all a preview of today's show. So you see the thumbnail. You see this goofy ass nigga sitting on the front of my goddamn Tuesday show. Joe Budden, occasional rapper, full-time problematic motherfucker, right? Budden said on his podcast last week, he made some comments that have righteously riled people up, but at the same time continues to reveal the very cavalier, blasé attitude in our society regarding rape culture, and especially Hoomst is on the receiving end of specifically this version of rape culture that Joe Biden, Joe Biden. Well, that's another one, isn't it? Y'all should go back and revisit our episode with the erudite Tara Reid, whom you know, says that Joe Biden assaulted her. We spoke with Tara Reid. So ain't that funny? Joe Biden, not much difference in these two fellows on this instance. Yes. But that's the thing, sex assault and rape. And let me just give a trigger warning, by the way. We will be talking about sex assault and rape when we get to the Joe Budden section of the program. But you guys know I have things to say about that. Later on in the show, we're also going to be looking at the wildcat strike at Amazon. Did you guys hear this? At their JFK location up in New York, Staten Island, they walked off the fucking job. They walked off the job by the hundreds. Those Amazon workers did. Chris Smalls tweeted all about it on his social media. We're going to see that action that took place because Amazon continues to foster unsafe working conditions for its warehouse workers, really for its workers everywhere. Jeff Bezos' funky ass little trucks and warehouses and dick rockets and everything exists. People are being mistreated, but the workers are standing up and fighting back. We're going to look at that. But before we get started, I just wanted to remind everybody really quickly that today, what the fuck is today? What's today? Today is the 4th of October. Oh, yes. If you go to our About section, the community section, we are supporting a new abortion fund this month. Since the Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Clinic decision, we have been supporting a grassroots on the ground abortion fund every month. And so it's October, so it's time for us to announce that new fund. And this one, I believe, is the Indigenous Women's Fund, the Indigenous Women's Abortion Fund. That is a nationwide fund, actually, that supports Indigenous women getting access to reproductive health And we are going to be doing that. So this is how that works. The channel, as a channel, we support this $50 a month, every one of these abortion support funds. And we just ask our Fire Fam members to match us $5 if you're able. These are very serious times where women literally do not have full bodily autonomous rights over their own health and their own reproductive justice. So this is extremely, extremely important that you guys are able to support this. This is the Indigenous Women's Rising Fund. The link, you can find it at the very top of the chat box in our link tree. If you want to get a few bucks over to them, we would certainly appreciate that. That is the abortion fund that we are supporting for the month of October. We ask that our Fire Fam is able to contribute as you're able. So do that. Thank you all so much. Sorry. I have turned into my grandmother's plural. Like, I used to wonder, why did Granny always carry napkins around? Always had napkins around. And now I'm just sitting here minding my business and my nose is running. I'm not even sick. So I understand a lot of the questions I had about the whys of when and what older women did. Now I get it. Now I am older women and I fucking understand. Ain't that some shit? So anyway, fret not, kids. If you live long enough, the mysteries of the world will be revealed to you. Am I not right about that? Real quick, before we get in, what's the other real quick? I guess there is no real quick. Let's get into the show, because somebody left a comment under one of my videos, and I did have a little bit of hurt feelings over it. I'm not going to even front, dog, because that's not us. That's not what we do here. We still check in with the stories that other media outlets have long since abandoned. And I hate to even say it like that, but someone asked or said underneath one of my videos, "Oh, I guess y'all done forgot about Puerto Rico." No, we have not forgotten about Puerto Rico at all. And as Florida is recovering from Hurricane Ian, and as the remnants of Ian make its way up the East Coast, Puerto Ricans are still going through it behind Hurricane Fiona and their power grid being knocked offline. A lot of people in Puerto Rico are now weeks without power, weeks without potable water, and are still very much in a dire situation. And y'all's boy, Joseph Budden carried his ass down to Puerto Rico. And the audacity of hoes. That's all I can say. The audacity of hoes. We're going to get into the pledge that Joe Biden made money-wise to Puerto Rico. We're also going to get into the ways in which some residents, is it Ponce? The part of the island, Ponce, the town where Joe Biden visited, the way the Secret Service treated residents living in Ponce. But before we do any of that, let us get to the fight, la lucha, right? Am I saying that right? The fight. So, because Puerto Ricans have been out in the streets, Puerto Ricans don't have no chill. These big Bahamas is rowdy. I mean, rowdy in a good way, in a fighting way, of course. But, well, I guess maybe rowdy in another way too, depending on the ways in which you encounter said Puerto Ricans. But I digress. Let's get to the revolution, or at least the fight here in PR, where people have been taking to the streets really for this entire duration since Fiona's aftermath. But the scenes that we're about to witness are Puerto Ricans protesting, marching to one of the locations of Luma Energy, which is the private energy firm that is overseeing Puerto Rico's deteriorating and dilapidated power grid, which has continued to fail, but it seems like the shit keeps failing on purpose, right? I mean, it's been failing on purpose for a number of years now, and it's just basically a money suck, this Puerto Rican power grid, that is, for American energy contractors to come and steal hundreds of millions of dollars from the island and not give the people back the services, not only of which they deserve, but they fucking require, right? So I want us to take a look at some of these protest scenes, because we need to see that the people are standing up, using their voices and using their power. So let's take a look at these two clips. They are back to back. And these clips are, let me just be clear here. So you're going to see one clip where shout out to our people. We love island people. The people then brought the band out to the protest. And they're talking about inequities and power restoration. And just to give a little bit of well, anyway, let me hold that. Let's look at the pictures and take a look at this protest footage coming out of Puerto Rico, demanding that their power be restored to everyone across the island. So I love those scenes there coming out of Puerto Rico. And just to give a loose translation, and Lord have mercy, every time I try to offer a loose Spanish translation, all the Spanish speakers in the chat be like, Kim, we can't understand what the fuck you're saying. So I'm not going to even offer up a loose Spanish translation. But someone else offered up a translation of the song that the band was performing. And basically what the song said is that I can see the lights over there at the other side. What about the southwest, meaning the southwest portion of the island? Where is Luma? Darkness over here, darkness over there. But how come I see lights over at the other side? Those are the lyrics of the song that the band, which by the way was jamming, the band was jamming. That's what they were singing. And another Twitter poster puts this in context, put this specific protest that we saw on the southwest portion of Puerto Rico, where again, they were taking this protest to one of the Luma headquarters on the island. And someone here put this into context for us, because when the bandolero, when the band leader was talking, I hope that's the right word, when the band leader was talking about how come ain't no lights over here, but I see lights over there. One social media poster said, one bit of context to understand is that a lot of electric crews were pulled from southwestern Puerto Rico, where this protest was held, to fix up the city of Ponce because of Biden's visit. And that's not the helpful shit. That ain't the helpful shit that I would imagine Puerto Rican residents would expect no, I won't say would expect, but would hope would not happen when the U.S. president comes to visit. If you guys remember, after Hurricane Maria, Donald Trump's punk ass showed up and had the audacity to stand in front of a crowd of people trying to recover from the devastation of Hurricane Maria and just tossed out rolls of paper towels. Motherfucker, you could have stayed home. Nobody asked you to come down here and do fucking nothing, which was exactly what that was. But Biden, on the other hand, showed up. And now the people who were in the southwestern part of the island getting their lights hopefully restored, clearly not in a timely fashion because Hurricane Fiona is 2 weeks away from us now, but their restoration had to be abbreviated or halted altogether to accommodate the U.S. president. Now, ain't that the picture of neocolonialism? ain't that it? Ain't that imperialism? At least one sliver of an example of it. And speaking of Biden, so Biden showed up in Puerto Rico, in Ponce this week. And let me read this for you. And I don't have this pulled up as an article, Will, because I'm trifling. But the long and the short of it is that Biden has made a pledge to Puerto Rico. And he said that Puerto Rico that we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that the island receives what it needs to recover. Actually, did I put that tweet up there, Will? Do I have that? Yeah, let's throw up that Biden tweet. That punk ass. No, can't stand it. Did I put it up there? That joint was jamming. That song was jamming. Let's put up this tweet from Joe Biden. Here we go. So Biden said, today I announced more than $60 million in funding to help coastal areas in Puerto Rico to become better prepared for storms. In addition, nearly $700 million in infrastructure investments in Puerto Rico have been announced since I signed the bipartisan infrastructure law. So can we do the maths? Now, gang, I know math was not my subject, not my strongest subject. In fact, I had to go to summer school a number of years during high school in order to meet my math requirements. Because, my maths personally do not be mathing, especially when it comes to shit like algebra and geometry. But I digress. But I can add and subtract like a motherfucker. Okay, I can add and subtract some shit like a motherfucker. Okay, now what's 700 plus 60? 760, right? $760 million is what Joe Biden claims is available for Puerto Rico, or soon will be available to invest in Puerto Rico's infrastructure, its crumbling infrastructure. Okay, so the stopgap measure bill that was passed this week, Biden signed that continuing resolution to keep the government funded. If he hadn't signed it yet, it's about to get signed, right? It's all in all a done deal. Well, the funny thing about that is, in that bill alone, Joe Biden is sending an additional $12 billion to Ukraine. That is 12 billion with a B. B. I didn't hear no B's mentioned in that number promised to be allocated for Puerto Rico. I just heard M's. 760 million. And last I checked, 760 million is less than 1 billion. But Ukraine is getting 12 additional $billion on top of the many, many tens of billions that they've already received in the form of cash and weaponry, right? So we as a government are propping up Ukraine like shit, right? Meanwhile, Puerto Rico, y'all get some crumbs. Maybe them crumbs will be there a year, 2, 3, 4 years. Let's hope no major or even minor tropical storms or hurricanes come through the island and further decimate the infrastructure there, whilst people are waiting for the American government, the corrupt American government, because basically that's the only reason. Well, that and racism, obviously. I guess there's a number of reasons. But corruption, y'all, is the heart of this. Like the racism, very clearly, yes. The subjugation of Puerto Rico as a colony. People were saying, Puerto Rico needs to have statehood. The fuck it does. No, it doesn't. Don't think that even if Puerto Rico was a state, it would receive better treatment. Look at what happened in Flint, Michigan. Look what's happening in Jackson, Mississippi. Statehood doesn't mean that they treat the darkies better at all. No, it doesn't mean that at all. So Puerto Rico, an American Commonwealth, an American colony, receiving decidedly significantly less aid than the whites in Ukraine. And to add insult to injury, further insult to injury, when Joe Biden went to Ponce to visit, again, send the check, dog. You don't need to hand deliver the fucking check, Joe. you could have cash app them billions that Puerto Rico is long overdue for. You could have cash app that shit. Puerto Rico didn't need to see you in the spot. But to make things worse, when Biden got to Ponce, his Secret Service told the local ass Ponce Police Department to tell the residents there of Ponce not to leave their homes while the president was visiting. I'm sorry, what? Don't go outside. Like literally don't go outside? Don't go outside. Hold on. Listen to the police officer, this lady. I would call her a nice lady, but she is a cop. So maybe she's not so nice. But she was trying to say the shit nice, and it's going to be all in Spanish. So Spanish speakers, y'all should pick this up without any problem. I will attempt again at a translation once we come out of this clip. But listen to what the police and the Secret Service were telling the residents of Ponce, Puerto Rico, when President Joe Biden came to visit.
Bueno, aquí como siempre, pues sí, todo bien. Estamos aquí entrevistando al caballero.
Pero la policía acá. No pueden estar aquí. El servicio secreto de ellos no. Pueden estar si están en una residencia después del portal.
Okay.
En la acera no pueden estar.
Okay.
¿Estamos? Claro que sí.
Yup. So there's that. So let me give y'all again my loose translation here, but that was the Secret Service basically informing Puerto Rican police to let them know that the residents in the community surrounding President Biden's stop in Ponce, that they are not allowed to leave their homes for as long as the president is there. What in the fuck? And I saw some fucking brown-nosing ass dickheads in some of the comments talk about, oh, that's protocol. That's protocol. People can't leave their houses when the president visits. Do you understand that people don't have electricity, that they don't have air conditioning, that they might want to have the right to go outside and stand outside? They don't even have the right to gaze upon Joe Biden's overly Botoxed head and face. What? Come on. How is that is totally anyway. Listen. People of color, non-white people do not have freedom of movement. We do not have freedom of speech. We do not have freedom of assembly. We do not have freedom to bear arms. All the shit that's in the Constitution, there's asterisks next to that shit, except Negroes, Afro-Negroes, wannabe Afro-Negroes. I mean, it's a madness. It's a madness. So literally, the levels of disrespect that the people on the island of Puerto Rico continue to experience is something that we, number one, need to be clocking, keeping track of, making notice of, and trying to amplify the people in Puerto Rico who, again, have no problem standing up and making themselves heard. It is imperative upon us here to make sure that the voices and the concerns of the issues that they're legitimately bringing up, which to me, and really to everybody else, these are human rights issues. These are human rights issues. If people don't have access to water, power, regular survival things, which seems to happen every other hurricane season, how much longer are these people expected to live like this, to survive like this? And the American corruption allowing billions of dollars to be just fred away by these private energy companies that get these contracts. We saw on a previous show here, and look back at what was happening under the aftermath of Hurricane Maria while Donald Trump was still in office, and the no-bid contract worth over $300 million that one of Ryan Zinke's cronies got. And they didn't do shit. They didn't do shit. And now Luma is down there not doing shit and actually having the audacity to charge Puerto Ricans higher rates for energy with, as my grandmother would say, worser service. The service is worser. And they're charging people more. Burn capitalism to the fucking ground, everybody. Burn it fucking down. Jose! Come through, Jose. Thank you so much for your super chat, baby. Jose says, thank you for reporting on Puerto Rico. The island needs independence. Okay, but listen, I want whatever Puerto Ricans want. If Puerto Ricans want to be independent, whatever the fuck Puerto Ricans want, that's the shit I want. The island needs independence. We also need to get rid of interlopers such as Logan Paul, who are buying land. Man, listen. Anytime when certain white folks be like, oh, we're moving on from racism. We're not trying to repeat the mistakes of our ancestors. The fuck they not. The fuck they aren't, to make it make sense. Of course, Logan Paul is down there buying land in Puerto Rico. That's very on brand. And I don't even need to know the history of the Paul family to know that this is all on brand with colonizing whites. So that is very sad to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. But thank you so much, Jose, for your super chat support. And who is this? Is that Norman Witch? That's Dee Dee. Dee Dee said some money, and Dee Dee said, that is some bullshit. Yes, Northern Witch, it is some bullshit. It is some bullshit. So big up PR And there are mutual aid organizations on the ground, and for reasons. I was trying to copy paste some shit into the show notes, and I know y'all like, Kim, stop lying. You do not put show notes. I be trying, and technology do not be cooperating with me. But trust, listen, the people in PR are saying do not give to the Red Cross, don't give money to FEMA. If you want to help out Puerto Ricans, there are mutual aid groups out there that are available for your support, and will do a better job, I'm certain, of making sure that those resources get distributed in the best way. So, all right, guys, we want to send love to Puerto Rico. You know what? I'm not going to even try to say no Spanish. Keep up the fight, PR. Keep up the fight. We are standing with you. We're standing with you. Do us a favor, everybody. Give us a thumbs up on the video so YouTube can't act like a hoe and act like people don't like my show, because I know. Thank y'all so much for everyone's support, and follow us places around the internet. Let me sit up straight, Jesus. Sorry. Follow us places around the internet at BIDWKB. Oh, let me say this. Will, you got the fundraiser what's it ready to go? It's October, everybody, and if you've been watching Burn It Down with Kim Brown, I guess since we was born 2 years ago, October is when we do our fall fundraiser. So, today starts our fall fundraiser, which lasts for 2 weeks, and because we are a small channel, independent media, Black woman-led media, it's important that this channel stay on the airwaves here on YouTube. And I appreciate Jose and Northern Witch getting us started before they even know what was happening. So look at y'all, trailblazers. I love to see it. So over the next 2 weeks, it is a fundraiser, but y'all know how I am. I appreciate any support, free support. If you can just give us a like and a follow, different places around the internet at BIDWKB. That is us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch. We're over on Twitch. So what up to Twitch? Big up Twitch. So you can follow us places. You can subscribe to the channel. Again, if you want to support the channel materially, you become a member of our YouTube community. You can also join us on Patreon at patreon.com/BIDWKB. Thank you so much to the people who have signed up to become patrons. Thank you so much to Guilloteers. I thought Guilloteers was Will, but Will said, no, I am not Guilloteers. So big up to Guilloteers. Hold on, we got a couple more youngins who just hopped up on the Patreon train. We got Lauren R. Come through, Lauren. Shout out to Mel E. We appreciate you. Of course, Crip Hop Nation is supporting us as well. Big up to Leroy Moore. We appreciate that. So that's one way. So anyway, there's lots of ways. Cash App, $BIDWKB, Venmo at BIDWKB, PayPal.me/BIDWKB. And thank you to everyone who has been supporting us. Y'all a bit like Shirley. Shirley is a patron. Shirley is a member. And Shirley just ran us some bucks. You know why? Because Shirley is the shit. And I need everybody to be more like Shirley. Big up to Shirley. Thank you so much, sis, for your support. We love it. We love it. And anyway, so this is over the course of 2 weeks. And I know, what's today, the 4th? Yeah, some of y'all got paid Friday. So some of y'all got paid. Some of y'all got paid today. Or yesterday. So anyway, I know it's a pay week. So anyway, if you got 5 on it, trust me, 5 is plenty. I will take it and be very grateful and appreciative for it. Uh-oh, here they come. Here they come, y'all. Here they come. This or that. Franny France. Thank you, baby. Thank you. Franny French says, keep the truth telling happening. Happy autumn. Thank you, Franny. Thank you, Franny. Franny's always been a big supporter, as has Shirley, as has a lot of y'all. So thank you all so much for doing what you do. Okay, guys. When I heard the comments made by podcaster, and that's funny, we got to call him a podcaster now because that rap thing didn't quite work out for Joey, did it? Podcaster Joe Budden, who is known for being a problematic ass nigga to fucking begin with, right? Just all around, and has been a problematic nigga for a long fucking time. Okay. And it's wild, not surprising, though it is wild, that problematic niggas seem to get platform all the time. And that goes for niggas and broads, okay? There's a lot of fucking problematic bitches out here as well, but this ain't about them today. This ain't about them today. This is about the ways in which rape culture is so normalized. It's so casual. It comes up so easily in casual conversations, particularly around cis hetero males, right? Niggas will sit there and straight tell on themselves, make it very clear that they are rapists, that they themselves are not above snatching the pussy, right? They will tell on themselves. If you just let them talk amongst themselves for long enough, these niggas will tell on themselves. But the thing about Joe Budden is Joe Budden doesn't really have to tell on himself because, again, he's a documented problematic ass motherfucker who seems to keep landing on his feet. Very white of him. It's amazing. But the reason why Joe Budden can be repeatedly accused by a number of ex-girlfriends of not only domestic violence, but just being a weirdo ass nigga in a bunch of different ways generally. And the reason why he can continue to shake off these allegations and keep pushing is because of whom his victims are, right? Because at the end of the day, society, including the black community at large, doesn't really care if black women get beat on, if black women are sexually assaulted and are raped. You know, that's sort of like, that's a us problem. That's not a community problem. That's a chick problem, right? Because men, or the abusers rather, let me be very specific here because y'all know how I feel about my bruvs who are my bruvs. But when we're talking specifically about abusers are given a very wide berth, right? And it's usually a very long time, if ever, when the shit catches up to them and they are facing some kind of either public reckoning or some actual accountability, which I do not expect in this case of Joe Budden. So let me bring y'all up to speed. And let me play the clip. And I apologize again. I'm very bad at giving the trigger warnings before I start talking about traumatic shit. And I did give the trigger warning at the beginning of the show, but let me re-up on the trigger warning. This is about sexual assault. This is about rape. And it's about something called stealthing. Now, I'm sure the Fire Fam is well informed about the practice of stealthing, but let me just give a very quick definition. And come to find out that stealthing, it has a bit of a more expanded definition than I thought, but how it applies to Joe Budden. So Joe Budden on his podcast, I think it was last week, and we're about to hear the comments. So trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. But he's going to very casually make a joke about stealthing. Now, stealthing is when a man pretends or gives his partner the impression that he has put on a condom prior to sexual intercourse, but did not put on a condom, right? And guys, when you do that, you rob people of their choice and of their autonomy. And this is not just an issue that happens to women. It happens to anyone that has sex with men, right? And when we come out of this clip, and we will talk about the ways in which potentially women can stealth too, but I want us to be specific here when talking about Joe Budden's comments, because this is a very accepted and normalized thing amongst some sections of cis hetero men. I can't even point the fingers exclusively at black men. This is a man fucking problem here. And I hate that Joe Budden is admitting about this shit and laughing about this shit. So again, trigger warning, trigger warning. Let's listen to the clip of the Joe Budden podcast.
What? I have no idea knowing. Joe, you do the... And even I done walked in the corner and faked like I was putting a condom on before. It'd be working.
What? What?
They're none the wiser. What do you mean what? Yes, I did that.
You faked the put
1,000%. That was my poor...
I'm asking.
That was my poor execution of my plan after I mastered it, which was to just bust through the lambskin. Let me go find
I don't know if I ever used a
Let me go
lambskin.
find the thinnest condom in the world.
You bastard doing
bust.
that?
Huh?
Bust through it?
Yeah.
You plan to bust it?
Yeah, I'm not having it. But
Yo, what? Oh, man, this guy. Yo, you're a sicko. For real, yo.
no, I used to be.
Oh,
Ah,
Please
you're
don't.
formed.
Please,
What time for growth?
please don't misrepresent me.
Isn't that funny? The nigga just sat there and told on himself and then gonna come back and say, please don't misrepresent me. Nigga, who told you to open up your fucking crusty ass lips and admit and laugh and kiki and hee and ha ha about truly something that is a sexual assault violation? In some states, stealthing is a criminal offense. In a lot of states, you can actually, the victim that is, could potentially sue their perpetrator for civil damages as a result of stealthing. And let's be clear. So what are the consequences of stealthing? Well, you don't allow the partner a decision about whether or not they want to have consensual, unprotected sex. Okay. Now what can happen? Come on now. 8th grade. What happens with unprotected sex? You could experience an unwanted pregnancy. You could catch a sexually transmitted infection. Either way, both parties need to be on the same page when it comes to using contraception or trying to use something that prevents the transmission of sexually transmitted infections, right? And so when Joe Budden very casually laughs, and all his homeboys laughing, hilarious, the shit is funny, ha 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 ha. Hey man, I don't even know how many bitches I done fake putting on the condom for, dog. Do you understand how sick these motherfuckers are? Do you understand how me, and I'm sure a lot of y'all as Gen X and millennial women and non-binaries and fucking everybody else, you know how fucking goddamn disappointing, unsurprising, but disappointing nonetheless to hear Joe Budden at his big fucking age have a laugh about that shit and say, nah, I ain't a sicko. That's what I used to do. But you still find this behavior comical. This is entertaining to you. Like you like to recount the ways in which you took away a woman's consent about whether or not she wanted to have unprotected sex with you. And let's be clear, Joe Budden, again, like I said, at the onset, has a very documented history of being an abuser. Ex-girlfriends, Esther Baxter, Tahiri, Sin Santana, all made allegations that he abused them. One of them even said that he beat her so bad that she ended up having a miscarriage. Okay. Joe Biden, I keep wanting to call him Joe Biden, and you guys can very easily see how I can make that Freudian slip considering the topic, right? But Joe Budden, then he had another girlfriend, a very pretty Puerto Rican girl, and I can't remember her name, but she was like teaching twerk or something. And I remember when I used to follow him on social media, this is many years ago, he used to post pictures of her asleep, which I used to think was weird and fucked up. He would post pictures of her while she was sleeping and then make comments about her sexual prowess and her body. But he's posting pictures of her sleeping to everybody on the internet. And I said this once before, and I still mean it, that I can only speak for myself here. But some Generation X men are fucking barbarians. Barbarians. To listen to Joe Budden, he sounds like the fucking rapey ass niggas that I knew in my teens and early adulthood, who would laugh about spiking girls' drinks, who would laugh about taking advantage of girls who were too drunk to consent or too high to consent. They would just laugh about the shit, you know, because them's the breaks, bitch. I guess you shouldn't have got drunk, huh? That pussy right there to be took. I'm going to take it. Okay, that's the mentality of a lot of, I can't say the majority or even some or whatever, but a not insignificant amount of men in my generation and age demographic thought that way absolutely as younger men. Now, I hate the rebrand that these niggas is middle-aged now and all of a sudden they girl dads and shit. But I like the fact that Joe Budden is staying consistent. Thank you for continuing to remind us that just because some of you fucking rapey pieces of shits get older, that y'all motherfuckers don't get no goddamn wiser. You don't get no wiser. It's about you. If you heard back what he said in his statement, he was like, yeah, you know, it was part of my master plan. I go off in the corner and sneak put on the condom. It was part of my plan. Why the fuck are you niggas always trying to run some goddamn game? Why is it that y'all are always, not y'all, not my bruvs, obviously, but you know I'm talking about the problematic ain't shit niggas like Joe Budden. Why the fuck are you niggas always trying to get over on a chick? Like, why the fuck can't y'all come as adults, as at your big fucking age, adults, and have a conversation and make sure that boundaries are established and that everybody is consenting to the same thing? You motherfuckers always want to try to get over on somebody, man. You always want to try to sneak one in. Oh, I had to sneak, you know, I snuck like I put on the condom. I snuck like I pull out. I snuck. Nigga, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Shout out to Lady Alex. Shout out to the super chat. Dearest Lady Alex says, I appreciate you, Kim. You're a brilliant, badass, peace and justice fighter. Thank you for that, Lady Alex. That is very kind and generous for you to say. I am tired, everybody. What I'm tired, and let me just be clear here. The exhaustion that I feel when it comes to rape and sexual assault, I feel as though is a generational exhaustion, much in the ways that Black people are exhausted by fucking racism all the time. As a woman, I feel exhausted of having to make sure that my sexual autonomy is being acknowledged, that I am acknowledged as an actual human who has a right to say yes and no in the context of you know, sexual transactions, basically, you know, I mean, sexual transactions. Yeah, let me stick with that. I hate that this is still having to be negotiated with men and then by extension with boys for the younger girls, right? Imagine if Joe Budden is somebody's father. But the fact of the matter is he's a bunch of motherfuckers' fathers, because there's a lot of young men out here, really across racial lines. I can't even point the finger at young Black men, because these young white men are out here wayward and lost in the woods as a motherfucker too. But people like Joe Biden and Kevin Samuels and all these fucking goofy ass niggas with big platforms in the manosphere, these niggas is literally raising a generation of younger men that are listening to them and listening to them kiki about denying their sexual partner's consent and thinking that shit is okay and thinking that that shit is funny. Okay? We'll pop up Joe Budden's fucking bullshit ass Instagram reaction, because he hasn't said too much, okay? Because what happened was that podcast episode, from what I understand, got uploaded, and it either got, that excerpt that we just heard either got edited out or these niggas recorded a whole new podcast. But I don't think that episode, as you know, including that section that we just heard, I don't think that is alive anymore on Joe Budden's podcast. And this is what he said on Instagram in response to someone righteously collecting his funky ass about that bullshit he was laughing about. Joe Budden says, y'all really want all Black men in jail, LOL. Oh, it's funny now, huh? I guess somebody informed you that stealthing is a criminal act. Oh, you didn't know that before, huh? Or I guess you didn't fucking care. Well, niggas know that rape is a criminal act. I assure you, it does not stop the rapist from fucking raping, right? This notion about y'all want all Black men in jail, blah, blah, blah. No, what we want you niggas to stop thinking that rape is a fucking joke. We want you niggas to stop thinking that sexual assault is a fucking joke, because it's real fucked up that these niggas can see that shit and about issues of consent and autonomy. They can see that shit very clearly through the eyes of their daughters, right? And through the eyes of people connected to them, usually familially, right? But the girl with the big butt walking down the street, if she consent or if she don't, you know what I'm saying? That's all that matters. Like they don't recognize, like, all women are not the same to them. Like some women are deserving of respect and some women aren't. And they don't have a problem engaging in either relationships or sexual relationships with women they actually do not respect, right? Because that is the patriarchy right there. That is men making the ultimate decision about whether or not a sex act is protected. Now, let me just point out, because I think it's right to do so, not in the interest of fairness per se, but let me just acknowledge this, because, you know, all the definitions that I was looking up regarding stealthing, they all centered it from the perspective of the man, right? It's about when a man does not inform his partner that he is not going to put on a condom. I actually read one place that said that women can do stealthing as well. Stealthing in the form of perhaps poking a hole in a condom or telling a man that they are on birth control when they are not. And I see those things as similar, but definitely not the same. They are definitely not the same, because in the instance in which a woman, in that the examples that I just gave, in the instances in which a woman could potentially stealth a man, that is all about pregnancy, right? And in a man's decision as to whether or not, you know, to engage in sexual contact or sexual activity that could result in a pregnancy. So if a woman tells a man that she's on birth control and she's not, or a woman pokes a hole in a condom in order to get them sperms, you know, that is taking away a man's consent, right? But for the woman, it's a little bit more complex, because it involves not only contraception, you know, to prevent pregnancy, but sexually transmitted disease as well. A man knows when he's sticking his wee wee in the freeway, right? He knows when he going in with no helmet on, right? But a woman may not be able to discern that sensation from her vantage point, right? So it is extremely fucked up. And let me be clear here. Let's be fucking clear. If you think anything's going to happen to Joe Budden because he admitted to basically a criminal act of sexual assault, think again. Think again. Because if the nigga didn't get in no quote unquote trouble, I don't think he faced any criminal charges behind any of those domestic violence allegations from his former his former girlfriends. And as you see, he is a very successful and influential podcaster. So it's amazing to me that, not amazing, let me rephrase, not amazing. It's amazing, but unsurprising that people are well aware of Joe Budden's history, and yet his platform is as large as it is. And that, to me, comes down to the fact that at the end of the day, abusers are not shunned from society. There is no cancel culture that is universally applicable to people who have been accused of abuse, domestic violence, or sexual abuse, or otherwise, right? It is not everybody gets canceled, right? There's a lot of evidence. Sometimes multiple people have to come forward over the course of many years in order for the court of public opinion to finally accept the truths about said abusive, shitty person. In this case, Joe Budden. Joe Budden admitted to a criminal act. And from what I can gather, it sounded like he admitted to doing it a number of times. It sounded like it was part of his normal practice. You know, he don't like to wear condoms. Why should he be made to wear a condom if he doesn't want to? He can just go put one on in the corner and come back and raw dog, and his partner not know the difference. What's wrong with that? Cancel culture isn't real. If Joe Budden gets canceled, I will, I'll do something outrageous. I really will. And by canceled, I mean lose his fucking podcast. If Spotify were to yank his shit because a fucking confessed sexual abuser admitted to criminal sexual acts, I will do something extreme. I really will. And that's because I really don't think it's going to happen, because cancel culture is not a thing. It does not work. It does not work. And the reason it doesn't work, and it does not work in some instances, in every instance in which the victims are Black women, that cancel culture shit is Is it ever coming? And if it does come, it's coming way fucking late. Way, way late. Everybody want to point their fingers at R. Kelly and Bill Cosby. Do you understand literally the number of decades these motherfuckers was out here raping and abusing women? Decades before anything happened, okay? Anything happened. And it's wild to me. I saw some reaction from some of Joe Budden's, I guess, listeners, and they were like, well, now if something happened to Joe, or y'all want to listen to the podcast all watered down, or y'all don't want to listen to it real. This is what a lot of people need to accept. A lot of them really are fanboys and girls of abusers. Just say that. Just say that if a man is beating his partner, if a man is operating deceptively regarding sex and consent and all that, just say that's okay with you. Just say you're not bothered by motherfuckers who don't try to secure enthusiastic consent on all fronts from their partners. Just say you don't mind if a man has to smack around his partner, his woman partner from time to time, or if he has to beat her and she has a miscarriage. Just say that doesn't bother you. I would rather hear that. Don't be like, oh, we don't want the podcast watered down. Just say, I would like to listen to my abuser, to my favorite podcasting abuser, in peace. Just say that. Just say, I love listening to the perspectives of abusers. I love to hear abusers and rapers laugh about their abusive and rapey exploits. That's what I find entertainment in. I love listening to abusers. Just be honest with yourself, okay? Be honest with yourself. And again, I'm so disheartened that so many young men tune into Joe Budden. So many men look at Joe Budden. They look at the desirability of his partners. They look at his financial success and his, where he's managed to and what he's managed to accomplish as a podcaster. They look at that and as aspirational. And if Joe Budden had to beat a few bitches and sexually assault a few bitches to get there, hey, that's the cost of doing business. And tragically, that is the ways a lot of men view society, right? Victimizing women, either in their youth or throughout their adult lives, victimizing women. How else are they supposed to learn and grow? How else are they supposed to learn and grow? That's like the American male rite of passage. It's unspoken, but it is understood across us all, is it not? Like, men get to rape and sexual assault, and then they get to come back and say, well, I didn't know. I didn't know about consent. I didn't know. You fucking knew. You fucking knew. You knew in 2022. You knew in 2002. You knew in 1990 motherfucking 2, you dick. You knew the whole goddamn time. But there was no accountability for it. There was no public condemnation for it. There was no public shaming in it, right? The onus was all on women. If women were sexually assaulted or raped, that was very much a us problem. Well, you should have been out late at night. You shouldn't have been drinking. Should have been smoking. Shouldn't have had on them little shorts. Should have put some drawers on. I mean, I can't even get into all the ways in which women's behavior, and the ways that women are held accountable literally in every aspect, but men get to learn and grow through rape and sexual assault. Suck my fucking dick. So let me say this. Joe Biden, I did it again. Same difference. Different generation, different color. But ironically, the similarities, basically, but you see how sexual assault is basically a rite of passage, right? Doesn't matter the age, race, of the man, socioeconomic status, don't matter. They all get to do some unwanted groping and touching and sexual assaulting and all of that. It's a rite of passage. It's what's owed to them, right? And you bitches who get assaulted, well, shoulda. You shoulda. But let me say this about Joe Budden, and then I'm gonna move on, because I I hate to say this, and I really do. And when I look at the demographics of this channel, sometimes I'm glad that we don't have a lot of young women watching, because sometimes I could be a little pessimistic about the future. But it's just because of what I have observed in my years here. But I hate this. But I really don't think that rape culture is going away, not anytime soon. I think that we are at still the precipice of being able to talk openly about rape and sexual assault, what it means, who abusers are, what positions they hold in society, who victims are, what positions they hold in society. I think we're still very much at the onset of these conversations turning into something more, I hope, will result in a deeper societal change. But when I hear Joe Budden, again, at his big fucking age, I don't even know how old Joe Budden is. I'm guessing he's not that much older than me, right? When I hear a nigga like that, who was probably in my high school age range, college age range, and at his big fucking age, still laughing about that shit, I just think about all the motherfuckers exactly like him who have sons, who are teenagers, young adults, and they have these conversations and consent never comes up. You know, the fathers want to try to figure out how much pussy is the son getting. All the father's concerned about, don't be out here knocking them girls knocking them up. But fuck as many of them as you can manage, son. I know very much still that young men are getting these pussy hound messages, and it makes me sick. It makes me absolutely heartbroken for young women who have to deal with these little barbarians that their older father barbarians have born onto us, who ain't never had a conversation with their son about consent, about enthusiastic consent, about anything. And it is important when these little cultural opportunities to bring these conversations up happen. We have to take advantage of them. It's not about celebrity. God, you know, I don't give a goddamn about what the fuck Joe Budden is doing. But the messages that he's out here sending to legions of impressionable young men and women, fuck that nigga, fuck that bitch ass nigga, you fucking rapey piece of shit, you fucking stealing the pussy ass nigga. Niggas like you, I hope you burn, I hope you rot, I hope every single woman that has been harmed by you comes out to point and name and shame you specifically. And I hope I don't wish anything good for abusers or rapers. So you can imagine what in the hell I'm wishing for Joe Budden. Fire upon them. Okay, well, okay. It is a little late in the hour, which is good. And I'm going to leave us off with some good news. But in a moment, just real quick, everybody hit the like, hit the thumbs up. Girls and guys, this shit just makes me so fucking mad. I swear to God, it just makes me so goddamn mad. These niggas are going to be in the fucking nursing home talking about all the pussy they used to steal. You understand? Like, it's like, is there any hope? Is there any hope? And again, y'all, anyway, did they talk about this on the remix this morning? I need to go back and look at the remix, because this is what I really want. This is what I really want. I want to watch a all male conversation about this shit. I really do. And you know what? I really want you niggas to start punching these fucking rapey niggas in the face. You think I'm kidding? It sounds hilarious when I say it. I understand that. I mean it. I mean that shit. I mean it. Because the only thing men understand is violence and money, okay? And abusers deserve no money, so I think they deserve a lot of violence. I think once you start raining violence upon them, they will get the goddamn message. Ugh! Make me so fucking sick. You see what I'm saying? Who was that? Tafari? I'm sorry. T Mosley? Yes. Come on. Punch them all in the face. I can't take it. It just makes me so goddamn angry. But anyway, I'm sorry. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, become a member, support us during our fundraiser here at Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Before I turn y'all loose, let me leave you with some good news. It's a good news story because it's a labor story. And it's a labor story. It's a David and Goliath story. And it goes to show us that the workers are fighting back. Big up to the Amazon Workers Union because they took some action. So we know we have been following the struggle for the Amazon Workers Union to continue to unionize Amazon locations across the country. And so far, they have only been successful at one, and that has been the JFK terminal. I think they call it JFK 8, right? And so this was yesterday. Let us put up, is that the, yeah, so go ahead and put up the video, Will. Can I talk over the video? So the video that we're going to see here, this was retweeted by, actually this was tweeted directly from Chris Small's Twitter account at Shutdown Amazon. And the video that we're about to see here is, there was a fire on a ship dock, okay, at the JFK Amazon warehouse. As a result, Amazon managers refused to let workers go home. This fire was raging for a duration of time. And what does fire do? Fire releases toxic chemicals and smoke, which is very noxious and, you know, bad for you. And the workers were like, hey, until this fire is put out, we should be able to leave. And Amazon management refused. So this, what you're seeing right now, is a wildcat strike underway at the JFK 8 location there. So what they were asking from a number of things, and hold on, let me put some of this in context for you. I mean, we're talking about over 500 workers at that Amazon location walking off the job, and they didn't stop there. And let me just put some of this into some context for everybody, because it's a Smalls world. Also, a Twitter account, I'm assuming, connected to Christian Smalls because he tweeted it. But he also went on to say that this is what is happening at JFK 8. Over 650 night shift workers just participated in the first wildcat sit-down strike in Amazon history. Workers supporting Amazon labor began the wildcat strike in response to Amazon's refusal to send workers home after a major fire at the warehouse. Workers were inhaling toxic fumes and refused to return to work. Now after that, even after the pictures in which we are seeing, hundreds of workers walked off the job, refused to work. Close to 100 brave workers occupied the manager's and HR's office during the sit-down strike, demanding to be sent home with pay immediately. After Amazon played dumb, workers walked out of JFK 8 in disgust. And really quick, let me throw up here. Thank you, Will, for that. Do I have the tweet where the workers listed their demands? Yes. Okay, I think I do. Haha. So some of their demands included, so the night shift workers expressed 3 basic demands. Number 1, put workers' lives over corporate profits. A very reasonable demand and accommodation there. Number 2, real raises to keep up with inflation. Number 3, recognize the Amazon labor union, which Amazon and Jeff Bezos have yet to do. So big up. I mean, you guys, we are witnessing history here. I think that the actions that we're seeing from the Amazon Workers Union, from the Starbucks Workers Union, from a number of these unions, this has been an amazing year for organizing and unionization and union solidarity. But looking here at this wildcat strike for the Amazon workers, I mean, literally, they walked out for their lives. They walked out for their fucking lives. Does Amazon not understand nor care that, you know, people die from smoke inhalation? If you have a respiratory illness of any kind, asthma, bronchitis, fucking COPD, goddamn COVID, you know, smoke can irritate that in a bad way. It can be really bad for your health. And Amazon management said, Oh, just work on through the fire. Just work on through the smoke and the fire. Get the fuck out of here. Especially for a company that has a documented history across the country of allowing workers to literally be sick and die on the job in the warehouses, and the Amazon machine does not hiccup or get interrupted for a fucking minute. Okay? Bezos said that paper do not stop, can't stop, won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop with the paper. Just move the dead bodies out the way. And Jeff Bezos would have been more than happy, I suppose, to have a number of his workers fall out sick on the job while this fire raged out of control, or raged generally. Amazing. They did not even want to shut down operations as a result of a fire that was literally putting people's health in danger. So when you see the folks out here, regardless of the sector, regardless of the union, when you see the people out here organizing for better conditions, this is what it's all about. And I'm very proud of the Amazon Workers Union, and big up to Chris Smalls. Yo, Chris, just keep Chris on this track. I don't want to see Chris go out sad. I don't want to see Chris, get sort of be like a co-opted junior member of the squad and go out real sad. I don't want that for Chris. Because Chris seems to be with the shits, and his heart appears to be in the right place, and he is letting it be known that this is a fight that he's willing to engage in, and the people who are his comrades in the Amazon Workers Union have his back, and he has their back. So we want to salute the Amazon Workers Union, the Amazon workers at JFK 8, who walked out in this historic moment, the first ever wildcat sit-down strike in Amazon worker history. Again, guys, we are in very special times. I think this is going to be something very meaningful. And unfortunate, again, it's unfortunate that people had to walk off the job to save their actual literal lives for their actual literal health. But that is where we are in late stage capitalism. Capitalism is determined to work us to fucking death, to death, so long as that Amazon stock price continues to go up. And Jeff Bezos' cock rockets continue to go up too, I suppose. What's up, T Mosley? What's going on, T-Mo? What'd she say? Oh, thank you. You didn't say anything. You just said the money and you said a sticker. So that's cool too. We will take it. Thank you so much for supporting our autumn fundraiser, T-Mo Mosley. I appreciate that big time. So gang, that's a program. That's a show. I will be on the Remix Morning Show tomorrow. I just couldn't do it today. I had something I had to take care of, but I will be on it tomorrow. I got some good stories, and you can check me out tomorrow. For one, Remix Morning Show Wednesday and Thursday morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern. And I will be hosting Status Quo News tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. So come on over and check that out. Fire fam, I do appreciate when I see y'all in the chat. You know, it's not my show, so I can't take 10 minutes new shout outs like I normally do over here. But Fire fam, I be seeing y'all. That shit be warming my heart. It really does. Oh my God, it means a lot to see y'all over there. So I appreciate that so much. So big up everybody. What's up, Afra? What's up, Wendy? What's up, Latif and Court and Comrade Kwame? Damien's in here, Stoner, Alice, Holly, Mo-Man. What's good, Mo-Man? My son, I already shout out Court, but I can't always shout out Court again. Courtney can't get enough shout outs. What's up, Infinite Content? Infinite Content, by the way, one of the stories you sent me, I'm actually trying to see if I can cover that story tomorrow on Status Quo. The LAPD who got killed in the training, but come to find out, he was investigating other LAPD for rape. I said, oh shit. So I'm trying to see if I can get the reporter who's working on that story to join me tomorrow on Status Quo. That would be awesome. Come on. What's up, Johnny? Johnny says, thank you for the stellar reporting, Kim. I appreciate you, Johnny. Thank you so much for your support and supporting the thing. So anyway, let me turn Will loose. Big up, CB. What up, Big Teal? What's up, Vernon? Yeah. What's up, Corey? Yeah, I love it. What's up, Donnie? Of course, Donnie's in here. So thank you so much to everybody. I appreciate you all tuning up, showing up for the thing. I will see y'all back here Friday. for Burn It Down with Kim Brown, 7 p.m. Friday. On behalf of Molly and Will, we thank you all so much for showing up. Please don't forget, COVID is still out here jumping on people. I don't want it to jump on you. Still social distance. Please wear quality high filtration masks when indoors in public spaces, and wash your hands, y'all. The pandemic ain't done with us. So let's not be done with the pandemic. We'll see y'all back here on Friday. See y'all later. Bye-bye. Peace, Fire Fam. Ooh, ooh.